It's really amazing how quickly plants can get away from you at this time of year. This polytunnel, I've only been away for 2 or 3 days and already it's just gone absolutely bonkers. You know, I've got tomatoes with masses of side shoots on them. I've got tomatoes that have kind of grown all crooked and, you know, well away from their strings, and I probably can't pull them back onto their strings now without breaking them. So I'm going to probably have to try and clip them. I've got courgettes that are kind of all over the place and making it really difficult to sort of move my way around the polytunnel without getting my legs scratched. And I've already taken all the tops off the broad beans, all the tops off the beetroot to reduce the problems with, you know, them kind of crowding out and causing airflow problems around the cucumbers and the squash and things like that. And it's interesting to see that where the new leaves are growing back, there's quite a lot of pest problems in here, you know, probably caterpillars or something on those beetroot leaves. There's quite a lot to do. And also I've got the French beans, which they always get this kind of virus on the leaves which causes the leaves to sort of die and drop off. But they give me a fantastic crop just for about a month, and by then the dwarf French beans are ready, and a few weeks later the outdoor French beans. So I don't really care. I know that I'm going to take this plant out, you know, after a month after it starts harvesting. So anyway, I'm going to do a bit of tidying up, and I'll show you a few of the details as I go along. So let's start with some of these tomatoes. And a really nice tip that I heard was, don't take your side shoots off until you've got your sort of tomato back under control. Now this one I might actually be able to get back on its string, so we'll try that. I have broken tomatoes off before trying to attempt to do this, but I think actually that one's pretty happy now on there. So now I've done that, if I could find a pair of scissors, I can take these side shoots off, knowing that I'm not going to damage it. So that was the easiest one. Actually this one's pretty easy as well. Again, we'll just try and get that one back on its string. And again, actually, that looks like it's going to go on okay. So now I can take the side shoots off that. I generally pinch the side shoots off, but once they kind of grow beyond a bit of a threshold, I find it's better to snip them off. So I'll also take some lower leaves off in a minute. So now I'm going to start to see if I can make some sense of this one. I noticed this caterpillar as well on this plant, and it's broken off the stem, this leaf, because it's been a bit windy in here because I left the doors open. Anyway, this is kind of slightly more challenging, I think. I don't know whether I can actually do this while I'm filming it. So I want to get it back on its string, but I also don't want to break off anything important whilst I'm doing it, and I don't want to cut that side shoot off here or there, just in case I damage the plant as I'm doing it. So I'm going to have a go at winding this round. And as I say, quite often, well, maybe not often, but a few times, I've managed to break these stems whilst I've been trying to wind them. So I'm actually going to be cautious here. I'm going to clip that there. So now, get those scissors. I will take those side shoots off. That's another one down there. And obviously that one there. Now you can just pop these side shoots into a compost pot, and that will kind of grow into a nice little plant. And you actually get a harvest off that, even at this time of year. Take any little flowers off it before you do it though. That would make a nice little plant. And I got a similar sort of challenge with this plant here. You know, they grow up the strings quite nicely so long as you can keep on top of this job. And, you know, often I don't, unfortunately. Summer is not a great time for me when it comes to gardening. I'm too busy. Yeah, I think I can get that round. It's really tight. Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe. No, I'm not gonna do it because I think this string is gonna bite into the stem of the plant if I do it. And now we're all tangled up. Right, okay. So I'm gonna clip this one as well. There was a time when I only clipped, I didn't wind this string around the stems, but I do like winding the stems now. I just use the clips, as I say, for this kind of contingency when I've just let things get beyond me. Right. It's looking good. So that's the top. It's actually looking kind of reasonable now. We're going up anyway, rather than all over the place. So now I need to sort the bottoms out, get this, improve the airflow a bit and get the beds tidied up a bit. So I'm going to start by just taking these old lettuces out. They actually grew really well in here, these lettuces. We've been harvesting them for quite a long time. Not a lot of point keeping that. The peppers this year have been such a disaster. These are the plants that have no root system on them, and they've just not thrived at all. And you know, because they've not thrived, I've not given them any care at all either. So, you know, it's kind of partly me and partly them. But I just don't want to invest time and effort into something that I don't think is really going to deliver for me. So I'm not really worrying too much about it. Anyway, I'm just taking some of these lower leaves off now. Just give them a bit of freedom. And I will have to take these leeks out. I think I'll take these leeks out in about a week's time because they're pretty good at the moment. And I'm just taking all the lower leaves, about a third of the way up right now, kind of up to the first truss. So that is looking so much better to my eyes, at least. And that bit of celery there, that'll be harvested within the next few weeks, as will these few little peppers, once the very few little peppers that are on them have been harvested. And then this bed will all be ready for replanting in August. And taking the beans out, I'll get those composted soon, which means I could move all these up and sort of give myself a little bit more room. So yeah, a lot easier to manage now in here. Oh, and I probably already mentioned it, but I'm taking these leeks out. So that'll be next week's leeks. That'll be the week after. I've got another 2 patches of leeks outside, early leeks, and then we'll be on to our main crop leeks. So yeah, it's looking much better. So I count my little growing early alliums experiment as a moderate failure. So we have got a few red onions which will keep us going through July. We've got a few more at home. So they kind of served their purpose, because it just meant we didn't have to dip into our main crop onions, which obviously we want to store. So we got enough to eat fresh until, you know, early August time. So moderate, but it's, yeah, that quantity of harvest can't be described as anything really more than a failure.